and welcome to a brand new episode of Windows. My name is Ahmed Nader, and tonight I'm filling in for my colleague Dina Hussein, as tonight we'll be focusing on the role of social media outlets and the artificial intelligence in altering societies, and more specifically for tonight the Egyptian society and the Arab societies in general. And I am honored to be having with me in the studio for such an important topic in this day and age is Professor Wael, Badway, the member of the Research Council in Communication and Information Technology, and the professor at the School of AI at the Egyptian Russian University. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Professor Wael, of course, the term itself, artificial intelligence, of course, everyone knows social media. A lot of people are dealing with social media outlets on daily basis, maybe on hourly basis as well in the Egyptian society and globally. But the emergence of the artificial intelligence, how far is it going through every little detail and little aspect of our lives that we don't know of?
As a matter of fact, we believe that artificial intelligence have been on the cusp of booming because of the social media activities.
Yes.
One of the questions we always ask, like when I started to do my bachelor degree here in Egypt, before I went out for my PhD outside, we used to study artificial intelligence. It wasn't a new topic. However, it was not that much attractive. It was not that much popular. So by having social media and the connectivity of millions and maybe billions of people on one platform, it becomes now you want to understand and analyze their behavior. So AI has a free run over lots and lots of data. So artificial intelligence itself evolves from this kind of data.
Yes.
In artificial intelligence, we understand few different patterns. One of them is we can identify pattern which we know, like moral, like happiness, sorrow, sadness. We can also look at trending or trends inside data and looking for features that we don't know. So this is one of the wow factors early on in the classical artificial intelligence. After that, we have now the generative artificial intelligence, which basically can generate content that meets your expectation. So I can write an article, and this article can be written in 4 different modes based on the reader, not languages, but pickup of specific keywords in the same language. And this will allow me to engage more with the audience. And then we start with audience engagement. Audience engagement means getting your eyes on the phone, on the social media. We look at very simple applications away from the moral. For example, getting your words and then transfer them into keywords, like vocals into keywords.
Yes.
Then this keyword will go to a specific advertisement. The advertisement will pop in front of you. Later on, we watch it that you can actually understand natural language, dialogue between 2 individuals. Suddenly this dialogue becomes a keyword and it targets audiences. Nowadays, you can actually interact with the ad. If you buy from the ad, you will find the new ads are coming because now your profile understands that you actually made a purchase, which basically a serious issue. If we understand the US election 8 years ago and 8 years ago, you realize that targeted advertisement for a specific political party was a key in their success. So it's kind of scary if we cannot control it.
Yes, you mentioned an important keyword, which evolves about my next question. Scary. What is scary about the artificial intelligence? In general, what are the pros and cons, the benefits and the advantages of the artificial intelligence, and the things that could be leading to bad things on the societal level at least?
This is a very complicated question to answer. We have to realize, first of all, that we don't know how the artificial intelligence operates. And there is a big question about explanation, or make it explainable for people why the AI made this much decision. It's scary because you can't train the artificial intelligence on a specific topic. based on your training, it will reply to you. So it does not give you a transparent answer. One of the common example we always hear about bias, for example, if I want to teach AI scientists, normally more male or female are dominating the science as scientists. You will find more, historically more male are dominating. So for example, I will show the AI 10 images, 9 of them are male, 1 of them is female, because 90% of our scientists are female, are male.
Males, yes.
So once you try to expose a female image to say if this look like a scientist, the AI will be biased again as a female because it was trained by 90% male images.
Yes.
And this will create some sort of interesting bias because we did not train the AI of doing this bias. However, if we train the AI on a biased data, we look at maybe COVID, so we look at micron thread, it does not exist in Egypt. We will train AI on it for so long, and suddenly you come and say, I would like to expose Egyptian X-rays to this model. Micron was not one of them. It was not popular here.
Yes.
So in this way, I'm teaching it a bias. So I can teach AI a different language, a different piece of information is not transparent. I have the control on that. The second piece to it, which is scary, because the AI has what we call it endless learning. It will generate data, it will learn from the data, you give it feedback, and based on your feedback, it will learn new information.
Yes.
So you are now in a self-learning mode where you can get biased by the user actions. So if you are maybe in Alexandria, you ask about food, designed for me meals, and you love fish.
Yes.
So suddenly after 1 month, 2 months, the AI will understand that's meal equivalent to a fish dish. You go to a desert area where you have no water source to have fishes in it. Suddenly you are in a meat domain. It will take it some time to adapt. So adapting to the user habit, user questions will create a biased environment. And moreover, the other scary part is exposure of data. So if I teach here or I use the AI here on this table, you from this side of the table will see what I pushed in.
Yes.
So if you get all the population of Egypt and put the information in, you basically export this knowledge to somebody on the other side of the ocean who can read this information. And nobody has clear understanding. You cannot defeat it, you cannot explain it. So this is where there is lots of government initiatives in EU and in Egypt in trying to establish regulations, laws, ways to be able to at least inform the user. If you send this data out, you are exposed. That's why it's scary, because nobody is understanding.
Yes, you've mentioned, Doctor, that it could be self-learning, the artificial intelligence. Of course, it needs a bit of feedback to know what's right and what's wrong and how to be developing itself. But do you think in the future it wouldn't be needing this feedback? So not just self-learning, it would be self-ruling itself.
There is a difference between explicit and implicit. So
Yes.
when you say an explicit feedback, I say it's better than the previous content or yes or no. But it could be implicit. For example, I will expose to you, I see you without a tie. So I say, I will expose you some tie advertisement. And suddenly you will click on a tie advertisement. It means that I achieved my goal because you now have a click. You go through the advertisement and you don't like it. You go back to your social media. You'll see an alternative tie advertisement. You click on one of them,
Yes.
second, third, fourth. Suddenly you made the purchase. Everything is trackable. So now the AI itself understands your judgment. You don't need always to make explicit. And this is where it's scary. We always warn the viewers and the users that we, at the beginning, when we install any of these social media apps, we allow the app to monitor other applications. So now if you critique an advertisement over the phone to a friend, you allowed your Facebook, social media, Instagram, whatever, to monitor other applications.
Yes.
So suddenly you provide the feedback implicitly. And this is where we can talk also about scary, because the companies do not generate enough knowledge to the operator and the user to tell them how it works. And this is not done for a purpose. It's done because we as users have no interest of reading hundreds of thousands of lines to understand the term of condition. We always think, okay, 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 because I want to get the app to be installed.
Yes. Do you think, Doctor, that it is safer now not to be using social media applications in light of what you just said?
It's safer not to use them and not to evolve in them, but it's kind of impossible because everything now is moving to social media. Like even we get the news right now on social media, like,
Yes.
like news readers, and I know you are good news readers, so news readers and commentators are basically repeating what we see early on social media. Is only a different articulation, different analysis is what unique on social media. So right now the whole society is moving, not even in Egypt, everywhere, is moving towards social media as access for information. So can we really live without social media? I highly doubt it, because it become a must. It become like a vehicle, like a car. Everybody needs a car to go outside the downtown area. You cannot drive, you cannot even walk because the distance became longer. So it became as one of the necessity of our society.
So if we have to use them in Egypt or even globally, every global citizen needs social media, at least one form of it or one application of it. How can we use it to the safest level, to the best of it?
To use it to the safest level, we have to be aware of the danger. So one of the danger is sharing private information. So we have to stop sharing private information. We have to stop sharing like...
What is private? Is it what about what I eat? Is it about my partner, my wife, my husband? What is it about?
It's all of the above if you are concerned of being abused. So a celebrity will have a private life which doesn't want people to be exposed to, but there is also a public life. So when they go to specific events, they will make them public.
Yes.
But you never see, for example, where's the location of their houses. Because majority of the new phones with the new cameras, when you take a single photo, it stores the coordinate of the GPS or global positioning system. It stores the time of it. So basically you can download that photo from Facebook or Instagram or any social media, and there is a simple program to display the photo and explain what's underlying, what's the camera sensor, what's the phone type, what kind of IMI of the phone, which basically the specific number of the phone globally. So when you be aware of that, you start now to look at not taking photos and randomly send them to the social media. The other part is the information on social media, once it goes out of your hand, it becomes as what you used to hear before. Whatever goes out from your lips cannot be retracted, that's right?
Yes.
So you stop sharing. I know now there are good practice for small kids that we don't reveal their photos in, because when they be in their wedding, you don't want somebody to come like, when you were 5 years old, this is what your mom showed on your social media. So
Yes.
what private, what you don't want others to interfere or to see and watch. There are some other private information, like there was cases when people will say, I'm going to a vacation, and suddenly when they leave the house around Christmas time, for example, they will find their house was robbed. Because basically people were early on watching.
I know you're not there.
You know they are not
Yes.
there. So this kind of private, it has to be assessed by the individuals, and by going outside to different media outlet and different conduit to transfer the information, we create an attention, alert that there are some information is not to show. And some information we can show and we know it's useless because it has no value. But it's really interesting for our follower to follow, and some of them is basically food. So as there is a say,
Yes.
before you eat, you take a photo for your Facebook, and so this became a trend. Taking decent photos of success, and on successful photos there are two sorts. One, people will feel that maybe the evil thoughts will come to others, so they will become attacked and they have bad luck because of that. On the other hand, people will believe they motivate others and celebrate their success. So it's personal judgment, what you would like to share.
In your opinion, in your personal life, which way would you go? Is it more about motivating people, motivating students, because you work, of course, with a lot of students at the university? Or is it more about keeping things private to myself? I wouldn't let anyone know about my private life, easily at least.
I keep a balance because I taught early on in my life that engaging with the students is human, people to people, is human connection. So when I have like unique events or unique food, or I always share. So I find that there are more individual interaction with my students, and they come say, oh yeah, we learned that you don't like this color. We learned that you had this food yesterday, how it does taste. So once we create this human link, I found the impact on providing technical information will become higher. And it become attractive that people will come to talk to us because they want to question about that, and then they speak about what are their requirements from technical. So you must keep a balance. You cannot just be outside. Social media. I used to say 5, maybe 8 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, when you go to town, you have a phone book.
Yes.
So if I want to find you, you have your phone number in the phone book. If you don't exist in the phone book, you don't exist.
I can't reach you.
I cannot reach you. No,
Yes.
you don't exist in this town. You don't live in it.
Yes.
Nowadays, when we see a new product in the market, like a purple washer and dryer, brand new brand, what we will do, within less than 2 minutes, we'll reach to our phone and we say we Google it. This is what we say.
Yes.
We don't say we search it online, we say we Google it. Which means that if we don't know what we are looking for, we always look for internet, social media, for content to give us some information. So if people will come to search about me and they don't find me, I don't exist. The second piece of it, or the other side of the coin, if I leave my name, I leave my information out, maybe somebody will come and personate this data. So I have to exist to protect my identity. So if your name is not there, you are not there. But if your name is available, somebody will come and say, pretend that is you, and then it will be under his control how to abuse your information, how to create fake information. So this is a two part of the coins. And because I traveled in so many areas, I can tell you it's a complete social values and society, how they can make a use of this information. But our role is to educate people about the risk. Other than that, they cannot make informative decisions.
Yes, one part of the education regarding using social media in Egypt, and of course for the entire world, is that social media is now leaning towards being a business environment, making money out of social media, making money out of having more likes, more views on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or anything. Do you think that this is the right way to be using social media, or on the other hand, we should be using social media purely to be just getting to know more friends from the entire world, to be interacting with the people that are not living nearby me? Which way should we go? Should be focusing more on getting money out of social media? Is that the right way to be using it?
It's the same as you have to keep a balance, because if we consume content in exchange of watching advertisement, this is what we call, so the one who creates the content will get money. If the content is not interesting, we will not be on social media. We will not be on YouTube because there is no content. So I thought about that, like, I personally don't make money out of social media because I don't have the time and I don't have the marketing
it's a profession.
strategies. And I'm trying to keep it professionally, even on my Facebook, which is supposed to be family oriented. There was a say by some recruiters about 4 or 5 years ago. They say if they look at your social media, they will hire a 40% better candidate. And at that time, we start to explain LinkedIn is for professional world. Oil Pro for people working in the oil field. There are specific social media platforms for specific jobs, specific tasks, specific careers.
Yes.
However, if people will go to your social like Facebook and others, and they see your profile, they see you have a balanced views of everything, religious, political, wherever it is, they believe you are a better candidate than getting into specific. If somebody is always posting negative thoughts, they will try to avoid him. So each one of us must have a social media. The decision of making money out of it through advertisement, people have to understand, as any celebrity, if you do that, what you let go behind, because basically you are a public figure. Suddenly there are so many you cannot do. So sometimes because people are desperate, they will basically start to do it. But majority of us will basically professional existence. You must exist, otherwise you are not part of the career, you are not part of the world. So we always tell my students, you know, like when you study any subject, get the brief of each part and share it on the professional social media. So after, when you graduated, you will have couple of hundred posts. So people will know now that you know in this topic, because your competitor are doing the same.
You've mentioned a very important point during the course of the episode, which is social media is turning to be news outlets or news sources. I go to social media to know what is going on, to know the views more about what is going on. If there is a terrorist attack maybe in Europe and other parts of the world, I get to know the views of the people living there, what is happening, why has it happened. Of course, the situation in Gaza, in Palestine, the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, the coronavirus pandemic, especially with the lockdown as well. So it's more about a news outlet, a news source. Is this dangerous?
As a personal, non-professional, non-trained news source, it has its own danger, because you understand the ethics of being on the TV. You understand, you practice that because this is your permission, and when you have a license for being professional, it's different than somebody just getting their own views. I can share with you a story away, because I don't like to get into sticky situations or discussions, but we had there was in Canada a specific daycare, and someone went out and said, I had my daughter pulled from her hair on the stairs of the daycare. Suddenly this daycare went out of business. And this event never happened. There was a couple of other restaurants when the people talk about cockroach and some weird stuff they found in their food, and they posted photos of plastic cockroach that was not really cockroach. And within a couple of months, these restaurants have been shut down. So having non-ethical information, it has its own danger. Feeling the heat and beat of the street by talking to people, it's always a personal view. And this is what we don't visualize, that when you have commentator on a specific news, it's a personal views. It does not mean this is bad. Like we come together in the same road in the morning, somebody's really don't feeling good, oh, it's too busy. Someone else, oh, it's very nice company having so many cars around me, so if any problem will happen, people will help me out.
Perspective.
It's perspective.
Yes.
So having individual perspective with knowledgeable users and viewers is different. But when you have a non-experience or non-informative viewers, what will happen? They will have the wrong perspective. We heard lots of noise about when Donald Trump used to be running for the president, and the issue of having AI at an earlier stage.
Yes.
Because you like this kind of news, it will keep feeding you the news, because the goal of the social media platform is to keep you as long as they can, so you can see so many advertisements, so they can make money out of these ads. And they make pennies, like few cents, few piastres.
But from billions of views.
Billions or millions of viewers.
Yes.
So trying to feed you what you want to consume has its own dangers, because basically you are biased. This is where we always say that, is it really good to see the information about the roads, the personal views of everyone? And many tourists right now, when they come to Egypt, they will go to specific groups and try to see what people will say about food outlet. And your food outlet is one-time experience, because you are not living in the restaurant all week long. You basically go for a specific event, you find a good parking, you find the food was hot, and the restaurant was not too busy. You had a good service, it's 5 stars. It's still 5-star service, but when it's too busy and you're still getting a warm food, it's still 5 stars, because the load, you did not see it. So this kind of personal perspective, it has its own danger as well. But we don't understand it personal. We start to trust. And we trust so many individuals, and we call them celebrities and fashionists and whatever new acronym came. And these people don't have any code of conduct or ethics, or they don't belong to any
Yes, that's
syndicate.
a very important topic. How ethical are those platforms, social media outlets, and the conglomerates that are owning social media, especially as what we have seen over the past 80 days, for example, in Palestine, in Gaza, and the Israeli aggression against the Palestinians and the Gazans. A lot of views, a lot of photos, a lot of opinions were banned from the social media outlets about Palestine.
On this banning, there are a couple of views. One of them is we are anti-hate, we are anti-violence, and normally the photos will be promoting hate and violence, not against specific body, but just bombing and dead bodies. It's standard promotion of hate and violence. And then you tie them with specific keyword. So suddenly the AI or the algorithm or the computer will understand that these keywords coming from these accounts in an aggressive way, because this account is not that much active.
Yes.
It will start to put some red tape around it, because this is basically now, it may be hacked, or it's just basically promoting violence and hate.
Yes.
I'm not talking about which side, I'm not taking sides here. This is one way. The other alternative way is people believe there is a blacklist of keywords and the regions, and suddenly Facebook or social media start to suppress the information coming from this outlet. I lean towards the first one. Is we want to promote
It's in general.
peace. It's in general.
Yes.
So yes, it's basically you see some people views. So many things we see. Like we had a couple of areas right now in East Cairo, and there are some floods and there are some heavy rain. And if I show you the 10 photos I had on my phone, you will believe that the whole Cairo is actually in flooding situation. When I came to you here on the TV, it's almost dry. Yeah, there was some rain, it's wet. It's not really flooding roads. So having this perception and this personal perspective, it has its own danger. So these sites, if we use them, we have to stop and ask, are this really true? Is the experience of individual reflect on the Egyptian individual experience as one, or everybody in town? This where we have to increase the knowledge, increase the experience of the users, how to believe and how to see and how to assess what you see. It's not just the news. By the way, there are so many cooking shows, and
Yes.
if you try what they show you as a recipe, it will not work. There are so many people who advise, yeah, if you want to take this spot out, you get this weird ingredients, mix them. It doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? It did not work early on. All what they do is they would like to get more advertisement by getting more viewers. So you have to speak on a different language, and you have to say strange, weird things. So people will sit and
And the
watch.
advice for human development, you should be waking up at 5 a.m. and taking cold showers and going out to the sun and all those advice.
Yeah, yeah, and and on these advices, if you wanna look at another example, what about the impact of a coffee on a weight loss? You will find nutritionists themselves having diverse views. One will say it dehydrates you, so this is dangerous for you. One will say it blocks your appetite, so you don't eat more, and in this way you will lose weight.
Yes.
And some other will say no, because it has its own danger, because it can increase your blood pressure. It has to measure by different chronic disease may someone has. So these views exist in the literature around just a cup of coffee and its impact on weight loss or appetite. We did not talk about what kind of coffee. Is it green coffee, black coffee, white coffee, with flavors, with milk? We did not talk about that. So when you had somebody say, okay, you take this coffee and you lose weight, or you take this coffee and it will grow your hair, where is the research behind it? And even if you go to the research will be about 1,000 experiment for 1,000 people, not millions. So that's why we say we have to increase the knowledge of our viewers when they look at information coming from their social media.
Yes, and finally, Professor, in 2 minutes, you mentioned the result of what is happening on social media. We have to use our brains. We have to have a good mindset. We have to think about what is happening and to deal with the implications of what is being said on social media and to be implementing it on the ground. How can we be reaching that on at least a national level in terms of Egypt, at least? Because it is hard. We have 105, 120 million Egyptians are living inside of Egypt and outside of it. Everyone has his own account. Some even have multiple accounts on multiple platforms with different opinions. How can we be not controlling but mitigating the effects, the negative implications of it?
The only way to mitigate these effects is by to increase awareness and knowledge in the viewers that they can drill more into the information they're looking for. They have to look for alternatives. They have to search over the same platform for different accounts or different advertisements that confirm this piece of information.
Yes.
People do not just take a piece of information because they watch this show for so long and suddenly they apply it. I think this is the only way, because we don't have even means to try to monitor all of these, because some of it's kind of impossible to be able to monitor all of them and then make a judgment which one people should say, because we cannot censor social media, unfortunately, because it's beyond the control. Like if you look at TV, the TV coming broadcast from one source. Each one of us in the 105 million is a broadcast beacon. It can broadcast, and with multiple accounts, you can broadcast more than one piece of data.
Yes.
So we have only to create awareness, to keep coming to your show and keep the world outside. So your viewer will create awareness, will create tactics, can adopt some good practice. I don't see it in any other way.
Yes, Professor Wael Badway, the member of the Research and Communication Council and the Information Technology, and the professor at the School of AI at the Egyptian Russian University. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on Windows.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And this brings us to the end of Windows for this week. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.